A New Year resolution is a solemn pledge or firm decision taken at the beginning of the year to do or not do something in the course of the year. Many people make New Year resolutions, but how many remain firm and steadfast with these resolutions? Some people probably don't believe in making New Year resolutions because of the perceived low rate of adherence. For others, having a New Year resolution keeps them on track in their quest for personal development. We will bring you shades of opinions on New Year resolutions on this episode of 30 Minutes. Welcome to the program. My name is Mitaire Ikpen. Some philosophers believe that what a new year brings to you depends a great deal on what you bring to the new year. Now, why are New Year resolutions important and how effective are they for individuals and the society in general? We'll find out in this first report from Lydia Sampson.
History has it that the ancient Babylonians are the first people to make New Year resolutions some 4,000 years ago. They were also the first to hold recorded celebrations in honor of the New Year. Though for them, the New Year began not in January, but in mid-March when the crops were planted. This is reportedly during a massive 12-day religious festival known as Akitu. The Babylonians crowned a new king or reaffirmed their loyalty to the reigning king. They also made promises to the gods to pay their debts and return any objects they had borrowed. These promises, many say, could be considered the forerunners of what is today known as New Year resolutions. It is believed then that if the Babylonians kept to their words, their gods will bestow favor on them for the coming year. If not, they will fall out of favor with the gods. That is definitely a situation no one wanted to be in. Also, a similar practice occurred in ancient Rome after the reform-minded emperors Julius Caesar tinkered with the calendar and established January 1st as the beginning of the new year. January had special significance for the Romans, believing that Janus symbolically looked backwards into the previous year and ahead into the future. The Romans offered sacrifices to the deity and made promises of good conduct for the coming year. This over 4,000-year-old tradition resonates with the world today.
There is no definite history of New Year resolutions. From history, we know that human beings calculate their exploits on seasons and on time. Now, human beings measure their achievement, their failures, their exploits, their goings in and comings out. They measure harvest either in season or on time. Now, we are in the calendar era. We have a global calendar system such that people now measure what they have done in life, how life has affected them in season and in time. You check out even in our Christianity and in other religions, you are taught. The psalmist say that we should learn to count our blessings and name them one by one. We should learn to calculate time. So now, New Year resolution should not be pinned to one that is started here. People have always, our great grandparents have always been calculating what they do based on seasons, even when we did not have this calendar introduced to us by the Western world. They have been calculating like on market days, that how many market days are we looking at when the moon comes out? How many market days does it take for the moon to appear? And how many moons does it take for us to have a farming season? And how many farming season makes a generation? Our great-grandparents have been calculating their own calendar. It is only that ours were not recorded in history, so we tend to forget and now look at everything from the Western perspective, as if a New Year resolution is alien to us. Our great-grandparents have been calculating New Year resolution.
The question is, why is it so unique for people to make New Year resolutions at the beginning of every year, sometimes only to break these lofty projections?
It doesn't make sense for you to make 10 resolutions at a time at the beginning of the year. It doesn't really make sense. You look at the particular area of life that you want an improvement, and you now say, okay, on this area, I'm making a resolution. Nobody is forcing you to make resolutions in all aspects of life. You may choose to ignore academics and make resolution to be doing morning exercises. You may choose to ignore morning exercises and make resolution on dieting. You can make resolution on making new friends or cutting down on friendship. You can actually decide to make a resolution that you are not going to be following social media. You can maybe it's affecting you negatively, like our young people. You can also make a resolution that, okay, I want to be more godly. I've not been going to church. I want to go spiritual. But it should not be too many at a time, because when there are too many, you are human. You will not be able to chew it. But if it was to be one, if it were one resolution, you will always remember that I made a resolution on this aspect. Shift the other resolutions to next year. Make just one and try to discipline yourself, because it takes discipline to live through, to incubate a plan. It takes a lot of self-discipline.
Serving God, but this year 2023 I want to serve God more, and I want to know God deep. The reason why most people don't keep their New Year resolution, one of the reasons is because some of them they sometimes get distracted by some of the social vices around, and some of them are not realistic with their own resolution. And that is the main reason why some of them, after first month, which is January, second month, which is February, you see some of them going back to their old way of life.
Well, there may be so many reasons. Number one is determination. You make resolutions and then you are not ready to fulfill them. You just make it because people are making resolution. So because of that, people may fail. Yes, other things are maybe circumstances. You actually determine that you want to, but maybe circumstances, and then because of that, you are unable to push forward. Then that may also cause it.
Are New Year resolutions really necessary? How do they contribute to societal harmony and development? I guess the most important question will be, do people keep their New Year resolutions?
Well, I think it's commitment. People are not committed to doing. We have this conceited life in us. We just want to pretend, make people feel good, feel we are there, but we are not really committed to doing what we just say this is our resolution. So that's why we return to the circle after a month or two. We return to the same behavior. We could have a commitment to say, oh, my resolution is to be time conscious, but we're not committed to doing that. So you see that after a short while, we'll return to the same.
New Year is just like goals. Then when you set goals, you must also be ready to see that those goals you achieve them. Then in achieving your goals, you have to plan. And that's when we talk about SMART and all that. So you have to look at it. Is this very goal, is it achievable? Is it measurable? And what are the things do I need to do to make sure that these things happen? Then you are resolute about it. You are resolute about it. Sometimes you also look at it. How have I been doing this before? Because you can't continue to do the same thing the same way and think you're going to get a different result. So if you've been doing it one way, then you have to think, okay, let me change my way of doing things. Then with that, and God helping you, because that is the major key to everything. God first.
New Year resolution is nothing other than people drawing up plans. I think development, every progress starts at the point of drawing up plans. That is why when God was speaking to the prophets in the Bible, I know you are a Christian, was speaking to the prophets in the Bible, you notice God said that, it says, Son of man, write it down and say it out to my people. Things don't just happen. First and foremost, you think about it, come up with an idea, you write it down, and you declare it. It is called, I think in metaphysics, metaphysical, they call it affirmation, where people affirm, I don't want to drink alcohol again. Like we used to say when we were younger. Oh, I don't want to smoke cigarette again. Oh, I don't want to womanize again. As difficult as these declarations are, as difficult as they are, and you will not even be able to do it because you're a young person, but you notice that it has an effect on you. It keeps reminding you, your subconscious keeps reminding you that you had made a promise, like in the Bible we say a covenant. You have made a covenant that you are not going to do this as a resolution. So New Year resolution, it's a very good thing to happen.
One expert says it beautifully symbolizes a new chapter and can be compared to opening a new page on the book that is one's life. Ironically, while so many people aspire to achieve ambitious goals, a study showed that only 12% of them will ever experience the taste of victory on their New Year resolutions. Sounds bad, doesn't it? Statistics show that 156 million people will probably give up on their resolutions because they are too much in a hurry. Others because they are trying too hard. Some, on the other hand, will nudge because of too much thinking and not enough action. Not able to track one's progress is also a critical factor.
Well, it's a matter of determination and discipline. Yeah, just discipline.
Once you're committed to being better and you understand the essence of being better in attitude, definitely I think we can begin to be better at keeping to our resolutions, our New Year resolutions, and adjusting effectively. My New Year resolution is to be a better human being, just one resolution. If I can be a better human being, I think I want to keep to time. I want to love my neighbor as myself. I will not see people from their tribe or in terms of their religion. I will see them as human beings.
A country can actually wake up things that are so simple for us to be in charge of. We don't need the effort of the United States of America or Europe to enable us to do that. At that top level, so okay, from next year, if we have an event, a program, a classroom, a church, a mock session, or whatever, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the president of Nigeria, the governor of the state in Nigeria, the senator, the ministers arrive there by 2 minutes to 1. And if they walk into that place, that event is not held, they move back. I think if our president and our governors do that up to 3 times, the country will be called to order. Everyone will now know that Nigerian time, African time has changed. And it might appear insignificant, but it has a way of affecting our leadership psychology, the way we perceive things, the way we perceive work.
Experts believe it should not be that difficult to stick to New Year resolutions if we set measurable, realistic goals. They are optimistic that with determination, the right social support group, as well as taking one step at a time, the New Year resolutions and decisions to be a better person will not only be realized, but will have ripple effects on positively impacting the community one resides in, as well as the nation at large. People are also optimistic that a new collective focus and vision for more patriotism from the citizens will reposition Nigeria and Nigerians for sustainable peace, growth, and development.
Of course, Lydia, New Year resolutions that border on self-improvement can have ripple effect on the society. And it is apparent that having New Year resolutions without knowing the steps to achieving them could be counterproductive or futile. Thomas Mitaire, in our next report, brings us some New Year resolutions of a cross-section of Nigerians, as well as some tips from counselors.
It is January of another year, with different expectations for different people in different areas of human endeavor. New Year resolutions have long been a way of taking stock of what is truly important in our lives, allowing us to pause and reflect on the year behind us, as well as plan for the year ahead. The beginning of the year is usually characterized with different expectations and goal setting, as well as New Year resolutions by different people. For Benjamin Adedolapo, a National Youth Service Corps member, rendering the mandatory one-year National Youth Service to Nigeria after graduation, the case seems to be different this year. He is not making any resolution this year simply because he has never kept any of his resolutions in the past.
I don't have a New Year resolution for this year 2023 because in the past years I've been making resolutions and I've not been keeping to them. So I'm just like, this year anyhow it will be, let it be and leave everything to God. Because in the past years there were some circumstances that not make me that hindered me from keeping up to my resolutions, and I'm just like this year, I should not make any resolution. I should just leave it according to the will of God, and that's it.
Shama Raphael, a young graduate of mass communication from the north central part of Nigeria, is also of the opinion that making New Year resolutions is not bad. However, as far as she is concerned, her New Year resolution is to live one day at a time without trying to be ostentatious.
Someone like me, I love reading, I love knowledge, I love cooking. So I would like to try out so many things, like acquire more knowledge, acquire more skills, acquire everything acquirable, learn about things, explore. That's what the New Year is about, and break new grounds.
Some residents of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, also speak on their New Year resolutions and why New Year resolutions are different to individuals, organizations, and the society. For most of them, it is one thing to get a goal for the year, and it is another thing to work hard to achieve the goal through hard work, prayers, diligence, and focus.
My New Year resolution is to become a better person to myself, my family, my society. Academically, I contested for something in my school, and all those were in a bid to unite students together, to bring students together. So I want to do more. I want to bring people more together. I want to bring students together. I want them to see the world from a better angle.
Of course, I believe in not only New Year resolution, in life generally. Because once you are alive, you have a lot of things that you want to achieve. And more especially in a day, in a minute, in a second, you want to achieve something. So also, this New Year, I want to achieve a lot of things. But one of them was, I would have said, may God spare my life. May He give me more life to prosper. May He give me the wisdom, the courage, the faith in Him to achieve what I want to achieve. More especially, the challenges we are having in this country, may we have peace, may we have security, may we have this forthcoming election, may we have good leaders that will lead us well, that will govern us well, that will make us proud wherever we are in Nigeria, either here or outside. That is my this year's resolution.
There are also residents of Abuja who also believe that their ultimate goal and resolution is to do the things that they could not achieve the previous year.
I don't believe that making plans should be for a new year. I think we should make plans all the time. It's just that New Year is usually a moment where we reflect on those plans to maybe advance them, to make them better so that we can achieve what we need to achieve. So about New Year resolutions, sincerely I have not made any right now, but I have plans even before the New Year, things that I need to achieve.
The best way to achieve them is if you want to pick one, you pick one to work on yourself. That's this year, this is the only thing I'm picking as my New Year resolution. Then you work on it, work on yourself. I think you'll be able to achieve it.
For some, getting closer to God for direction rather than depend on human efforts can also help to achieve the New Year resolutions.
Okay, my New Year resolution is to be closer to God. I have planned, God helping me, to be closer to Him this year than last year, because when I sat down to look at my life throughout the whole year, that was last year, I realized I wasn't as close as I should be with Him. So I made up my mind that this year would be different. And the ways at which I've planned to do that is to read my Bible, pray, and relate more with people who would help me spiritually.
Whatever someone wants to achieve in this life is through God. You cannot do anything without God. I pray to be a successful man in life, but without God, there's no way. And I pray for at least long life. Whatever you have in this life, if there's no long life, you cannot achieve it. So when you have long life, then you pray to God and God will answer the prayer.
Pamela Nweke, a medical practitioner, and Angela Amiga Johnson, a guidance counselor, are of the opinion that New Year resolutions are ideal, but it is also necessary to be guided by some tips.
We have to really look at our lifestyle, who you are, so that you can be very, very realistic in making such goals. Because if you do not understand yourself and you tend to pick from other people, you will discover that you won't be able to achieve your aim, the objective you have set for the year. So some of the tips you need to look out for is, number one, I think we should learn to make a realistic goal. What we think within our capacity we can really achieve. So by the time you look at your environment where you find the people you relate with, you know what and what that are takes, that can be a take there. Then when you make your objective towards it, you'll be able to achieve them. But when you make a vogue, a goal, at the end of the day, it's just like building a castle in the air that cannot be achieved.
It should be something that, even when you say I'm starting, you should not always have a mindset of by December it should have closed in. No, it should be a working process. It should be something in progress, something always in motion, so that whenever you start this stuff, you should see it as, even if the result doesn't come this year, it doesn't mean that's the time to start. So I don't see it as something that you should keep, changing. I'm not saying you should not make changes or make plans. I'm just saying you shouldn't leave the old year's resolution because it didn't happen and then jump into the new one. Rather, you should find a way to incorporate both the new thing and the old thing and make it work together.
Keeping or achieving one's New Year resolutions will definitely have some psychological effect on those who made them. Counselors believe that achieving New Year resolution is a moral booster, while failure also demoralizes.
Being principled and disciplined, because when you make a resolution, it's not like you are not going to encounter challenges. There is going to be challenges, but when you've made up your mind and you come across any hurdle, already your mind is set on it that this is what you want to achieve. So you have an inbuilt capacity to overcome those hurdles along the line. But you discover that if you do not put in, if you are not envisaging that you are going to encounter challenges, the moment you come across any bump, you withdraw. So, but when you have built it on that, okay, this is what I want to do, these are the people I would like to touch, this is the extent I want, even though I miss so and so, I will be able to overcome with the inbuilt stamina also that you have made along the line of your resolution. So it will help a long way in achieving our goals.
For those who cannot fulfill their New Year resolutions, there is no need to be discouraged. This is because there is room for reappraisal and review of strategies with a view to making amends.
What we need to understand, your inability to achieve your set goal, you go back to take a reappraisal of yourself. Appraise yourself. Where did you go wrong? Where did you not get it right? So the goals you set, were they too vague that you couldn't achieve them? The resources achieving them, were they not there, or they were there, you didn't appropriate them well? So by the time you are able to take cognizance of all these things and be able to redefine yourself, it will help you. So, but ordinarily, when you set a goal and you cannot achieve it, it will wear you down. But for you to rise above that, you check where you are coming from and where you had actually wanted to be. So it will help you to stabilize yourself and be able to move further.
I just want people out there to remember that, as long as there is life, there is always going to be a way. So the most important thing is to keep moving, to keep grinding. The fact that you didn't get it this year should not discourage you from trying next year or from still going. Some people, it just clicks on the last day of the year and that's it. So it doesn't have to always, limit you to think that it's the end. I know some situations can be very devastating. Some people can have huge losses along the way. But, to keep moving it's just the best. So I'm encouraging people out there, don't get discouraged, even if, it seems as though it's not getting the way, you plan stuff. Just keep pushing, keep moving, and keep believing in yourself, and keep trying to, get out from whatever situation you're into to get into the next thing going.
Perhaps someone like Benjamin, who may no longer believe in setting goals or making New Year resolutions because of past failures, can have a rethink by creating a list of attainable New Year resolutions and work harder towards achieving them.
Quite interesting report there by Thomas. So what is your New Year resolution and what are the measurable and realistic steps towards achieving it? Do not give up on your New Year resolution, as there is always room for review of strategy towards achieving it, and it remains to be seen how successful we will be at keeping our New Year resolutions, as only time will tell. That's where we leave it for 30 minutes today. I am Mitaire Ikpen. Bye for now.